We all have recipes that we love that are personal or family favorites, and I'm sure you're wondering, can you fit some of your favorite recipes into your mindful Mediterranean way of eating? And the answer is generally yes. And I'm going to give you some guidelines to help you make decisions about if a recipe is mindful Mediterranean friendly and if it's a candidate to be altered enough to fit into the Blue or Green category without denigrating the soul of the recipe. When I developed the parameters for the course, I had to take a look at my own recipe library and make some decisions. Now, the Blue category is broad. Much of my recipe library fit into Blue. Remember, according to the guidelines, Blue is open to all food groups, and we're looking for generally healthful recipes. Given that, what knocks a recipe out of the Blue and mindful Mediterranean entirely is things like deep frying or excessive amounts of added fat, usually in the form of butter or cheese, added sugar, which is why we don't have cakes, cookies, and scones in the program. Those things are special occasion treats because generally they don't have a nutritional benefit. So not never, just not often. Remember, there are pasta dishes in the Blue category. There aren't deep fried French fries, but there are oven fries. But one of the biggest things in Blue is portion control. Remember, the whole point of the program is to celebrate food and to eat mindfully. Now, in the Green category, we're less focused on portions and more focused on staying within the foods included in the guidelines and avoiding the foods and categories that aren't. It makes sense to look for recipes that are close to Green, so they can be made Green with just a few tweaks to the recipe. For example, I was able to simply modify my vegetarian chili recipe, and I actually did do this in the recipe library. There's an Blue and an Green recipe of essentially the same vegetarian chili. So here's how I did the modification. Once I realized that all of the ingredients of the chili itself fit into the green category except the oil, I used that for sauteing the vegetables, I simply substituted canola cooking spray and eliminated the serving suggestions. So serve over brown rice with cheddar cheese and sour cream and sliced avocado. In doing that, the veggie chili was transformed into an Green recipe. And I'd like to say, thankfully, if I want the brown rice and toppings, it's still available in Blue. Also, we do a lot of cooking that isn't necessarily from a recipe. For the Blue category, think of reducing amounts of dairy, using less, or substituting olive oil instead of butter. Small moves make a very big difference. And remember, for the Green category, some of the substitutions could be, for example, carrots instead of sweet potatoes, or, as I mentioned, canola cooking spray instead of oil, or fermented salsa, or balsamic vinegar instead of salad dressing. I know over time, as you get more comfortable with the program guidelines, you'll get more and more creative with my recipes and more creative with yours as well. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions at all or need help with a specific recipe, please drop me a note. I'm always happy to help. Take care.